Here I am, Sullivan, your host, and here I am with the one, the only Matt Kane of the self-titled Kane Action Team.
That's right.
He has over a dozen beyond talented MAA fighters and actors on their team. They've been going at it pretty strong since at least 2019, if I believe.
Well, technically even before that,
There you go. 14, man.
24. Yeah, say we're coming up on 10 years. Technically, we really haven't got any. We didn't really start gathering momentum until about 2018, 2019. So, but yeah,
Excellent.
10 years.
10 years. Happy anniversary. They're based in Akron, Ohio, and
Yep.
I knew them through Keith Collins, who's been going busy doing his own MMA action movies, but their talents include Jerry Sir, Ben Garton, and Krista Dotson. But altogether, like, when did any of you guys just finally decide it was time? We're all going to the same gym. We all click with each other. We all respect one another. Let's make it happen for everyone.
Yeah. So, I've grown up in the Northeast Ohio area, Akron, a suburb of Cleveland, and I've been involved in
Cleveland rocks.
He sure does. That's right. Oh, where are you from, by the way?
I'm Dallas, Texas, but I have many relatives from Michigan and Ohio.
Okay, gotcha. So you're based in Dallas?
I am, but I have revisited it ever so often, every once in a while, and it is just very intriguing, like you say, to just see kind of a blue collar state go up and up and beyond every once in a while. Once in a while, there's a big event that comes through there, and
and I'll try not to sidetrack too much. My mind, I'm like squirrel, but
hey, this took a while to get going.
Yeah, no, this has been a long time coming, so I want to make it worth everyone's time. But anyways, let me sidetrack. I went to Dallas one time for WrestleMania. One of the WrestleManias. I can't remember which one it was. I was drunk off my ass, so like I can't remember what number, but it was the one. Crap, what was the main event? I think Roman Reigns. And was it Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar? I don't know. That might have been I don't know.
Year?
But it was the year was 20. Oh God, that's a great question. I'm on my phone.
18.
Are you looking it up right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
So that sounds about right. I think it was 20. I think it was 2018 because it was the second to last one I went to. Because I didn't go. I've not been to one since. But yeah, it was at was it AT&T Stadium?
I think so. I'm just looking.
Where the Cowboys play.
Oh.
Anyways,
yeah.
That's the only time I've been to Dallas. We drove all the way from Cleveland to Dallas. It was like 18 hours or some shit. But anyways, not to sidetrack everything, but I just had to mention a quick WrestleMania story. It was a lot of fun going to WrestleMania.
I'm seeing Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns 2002. So
no, not 2002.
All right,
because he wasn't around for 2002. But
interesting.
Anyways, that I've been to 7 WrestleManias, I think, because it's me and my buddies. We that was our time to like go and hang out, make bad decisions, get drunk, and go to different WrestleManias.
I'm actually seeing one from last year. Are you sure that was it?
Yeah. No, it was. I think 2018 sounds about right. I can check.
That's so weird. I'm not seeing it, man. Okay.
If you look up WrestleMania Dallas, it should pop up. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. But anyways, So, what was the original question?
2016. My bad.
2016.
Anyway,
that was it. 2016.
Anyway, so that was 2 years after you formed your crew.
Correct. There you go. So here's what happened. I've been involved in acting for 25 years. I started when I was 10 years old. I'm 35 now. So I've been involved in acting for almost my whole life, and so I also been involved right around the same time I started doing martial arts. I started when I was 12. I started heavy doing martial arts, Jeet Kune Do. I've done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, self-defense. I've done kickboxing, Taekwondo, whatever, a bunch of stuff. And then I started slowly merging those passions together. The passion of film, passion of, fights, action, and all that stuff. And as
Right.
as I started delving deeper into that and getting more involved in indie films, um, I came to the realization that, hey, like this area, this Northeast Ohio area specifically, doesn't really have any stunt teams. There's one stunt team that's kind of like a couple hours away, but there's really nothing here. I just want a group of guys where we can get together, kick the shit out of each other, and make some art, like make some short films, make some feature films, and all that stuff. So basically, what I did, yeah. So basically, what I did is I decided, hey, well, uh, if there's nothing around for me to go and train, why don't I just start something? Yeah. So basically, in doing acting gigs and projects, it came up in conversation. We talked about action and stunts and being around, short films, and say, hey, I formed a stunt team, Kane Action Team. You have any interest in joining? And slowly but surely, we started to kind of form, through that. And so we started technically in 2014, and just kind of slowly over time started growing in members. And and just like anything, there's ebbs and flows. Some members go, some members come.
Right.
But yeah, so that was kind of the genesis of it. Is just I felt that there was a need for some stunt training, some action, that we could, whether it be create our own action, do our own short films, consult on short films and design their action, or train actors. Those are kind of the three main elements of what we do. Our own content, consult and design for other action, create action for other films, other projects, and then train actors and actresses to look cool on camera. So that's basically the genesis of it.
Totally. And yeah, you have so many forms of MMA fighting, but do you have a particular favorite, or is it all just flow together?
Well, so this poster behind us, the Enter the Dragon. So I'm a big proponent of Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee talked about how, like, he really didn't have much of a style, even though he created his own style, but it was kind of stylist. But that's a whole other philosophical argument. But he would say is absorb what's useful, discard what's useless, add what's your own. So for me, I've kind of done a little bit of a lot, if that makes sense. The first martial art I actually ever did start in was Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee's martial art, because I wanted to become like Bruce Lee when I was a kid. I would practice. I was a Bruce Lee fanatic. If anything I could get my hands on that was Bruce Lee related, I did. I read every book. I did all his workouts. I did everything. I was trying to become, the Caucasian Bruce. Yeah, the Caucasian Bruce Lee. So anyways, that was kind of my baby. But ever since then, I've kind of done a bunch of different arts. I own a martial arts school in Akron, Ohio, called Paragon Martial Arts and Fitness, and we teach self-defense. We have a cardio kickboxing class. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is something else that I've really gotten passionate. I've been, in the last 10 years, I've really trained hardcore in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I love grappling in addition to, kicking and punching, all that stuff. So I'm kind of a hodgepodge. I don't really have like a set style. For me, it's whatever works and whatever looks cool on camera.
Okay, very neat. And what action directors did you study? From the greats like, James Mangold and Spielberg, to be action guys like Isaac Florentine and Jessica Johnson.
Yeah.
But overall, which ones really stuck with you, where you're like, see, these guys, they understand how to have drama, kick-ass stunts, and a movie that flies like clockwork?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the first OG for me was obviously Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan and his homeboy Sammo Hung. I grew up with a lot of the Hong Kong action movies. That was kind of my first foray, because when you grow up and you start watching martial arts movies, you're like, damn, like who does it the best?
This is real.
Yeah. So Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung were my first intro into that. But honestly, I'll get into my favorites in a second, but
no, it's fine.
I got some early. I'm having some repressed memories are popping up. When I was young,
man, all this excitement.
Yeah. When I was, we'll say, too young. My dad was a big fan of Steven Seagal.
Nice.
Okay, and awesome. So when I was probably, like I said, way too young to be watching these movies, My dad would throw these on, and I'm watching guys get their legs blown off, get their wrists snapped, their necks snapped, getting beat in the head with, you know. So, and Steven Seagal's 5-movie run when he started is, I'd put it up there with anybody else's. Like every movie pretty much he's made since then has been trash. But if you look at Above the Law,
star has their moments. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, but if you look at Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice, Under Siege, those 5 go hard. They're great, gritty, dark, violent is really the better word.
Yeah.
Violent action movies. They're awesome, and the practical effects are great. Granted, Steven Seagal is playing the same character in all of them. His acting is whatever, but but that was like one of my first introductions into violence, into action, was the Steven Seagal movies, because my dad loved Steven Seagal, so I would watch that. Also, a big introduction for me right there. I don't know if this is just audio or video, but Point Break.
Yeah.
Okay. Point Break with Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze. That also was one of the first action movies I remember watching, again, when I probably shouldn't have been watching it. But ever since then, I've had such a fascination with that film. So like the 90s action movies were my thing. And then I started getting into Van Damme, Bloodsport. Love Bloodsport. One of my favorite movies of all time. Kickboxer, Universal Soldier. Yeah. So that was like my first intro into violence and action, were those guys. And then I started getting into Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung. And then later, as my palate started to become more refined, I started getting into guys like Isaac Florentine, who, in my opinion, is one of the best Western directors of martial arts movies, bar none. The man knows how to shoot a fight scene. If you watch any of his Undisputed films, if you watch Special Forces, if you watch
all the Scott Adkins ones.
Scott Adkins movies are terrific. You watch, he did Power Rangers.
You're right. He was of all people.
He directed a lot of those Power Rangers episodes. So yeah, and he's a karate, master as well. So he gets martial arts, and it takes somebody like that understands like the beauty of a technique on screen and why you would throw a special move. And here's how we're going to record. Here's how we're going to film it. That's really important. And then just recently, within the last 5-10 years, I've gotten more into guys like Vlad Rimberg. He's really amazing. Guys like Eric Jacobus, who's like one of the kings of the indie world. If you don't know Eric Jacobus, amazing indie action director. Who else? Even recently, Eric Jacobus, what's he done? So he's done a bunch of indie films, Rope-a-Dope, Blindsided, Pizza Time. They're really good indie films. But in the mainstream, he's known for doing the motion capture for Kratos in not the most recent God of War game, but the I think it was a God of War. What is it? 5?
Eric Jacobus. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I heard it as Chavez.
Eric Jacobus.
Yes. He is way cool, and my heart broke when I just saw how he was trying to get on so many big projects, and they wouldn't hire him. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He's done motion capture for video games and even Army of the Dead.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. And he really gets, like, he's one of those guys. He's a genius, and he gets he just gets it from an action standpoint. But yeah, those two. Of late, there's been a group called Team Red Pro that are based out of DC and I think LA as well. They've done some really cool stuff. They've done consulting. They handle a lot of the action for Shang-Chi. And then who else am I forgetting? A guy, Chris Cowan. He's a guy from Ohio originally. He's done some excellent work, Chris Cowan. And nice. I feel like I'm forgetting. Yeah, Chris Cowan. And Riven X3I is his YouTube channel. Riven X3I, Riven X3I. Who else am I forgetting? Those are the main ones. What's that?
I don't know.
Yeah, valid. Emmanuel Manzanares. A lot of these guys are indie guys that now have done a lot of Hollywood stuff. How could I forget? Chad Stahelski and David Leitch for John Wick. And see, you see what happens. Have you seen John Wick 4?
Totally.
Okay, yeah,
I
I'm
finally
gonna buy
returned to
it.
theaters this year, so
Oh yeah,
I got it.
I'm gonna buy it when it comes out in a couple weeks. It's amazing, and it's like a magnum opus for action. But this is what
Really
happens
is.
when you have action guys drive a movie. When you have them in charge, they will show this. Like this is what this is how you film action. This is how you make it look incredible. And even of late, like Extraction, if you've not seen Extraction, that's a hell of a great action movie from Sam Hargrave, who's another guy from 8711 Action Design out in California. That's David Leach Chad Stahelski's outfit is 8711, and they're
Correct.
tremendous.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Scott Adkins, probably my favorite of all times. Grew up watching his movies and such a fan of his. That's kind of I know I threw like a lot at you, but those are all my influences. Yeah, all that stuff.
Totally. And which ones really just like when you're crafting a action scene that you want to try out in a short or crowdfunded indie, altogether, what keeps you going? What makes you say, "Hey, our heart is in the right place. We're not cutting back on this. Everyone's on time. There are no shows."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But how do you keep that inertia going without it becoming stale or too repetitive?
Yeah. One of the things that's important is um, enjoying the process,
Yes.
right? So, like, obviously, we always want to keep the end goal in mind. We're painting we're trying to paint a picture here, a visual story. But if you don't enjoy the process, you're in the wrong business. So, and I tell guys when we're working on set, when we're designing action. So right now we're currently wrapping up an indie feature from Cleveland from a director named Johnny Woo, he has a handful of films on Amazon Prime and Tubi. We're rounding third on a movie called Bullets, Brothers, and Blood. Right there, you go for a title.
That's a Shaw Brothers title waiting to happen.
Yeah. Bullets, Brothers, and Blood. And I tell guys, like, when we're designing this action, it's going to be hard. Like, we're going to have to do take after take after take after take. It's going to be physical. We have to do it over
the fun
again.
Comes later in the editing room.
Yep. You're going to take some spills. Now, we're not going to be reckless, but you're going to get, you're going to be sore. You're going to get hurt. You're going to be bruised up a little bit. So if you're not enjoying this process, you're in the wrong business. So enjoy the process, but also keep in mind too that yes, pain is temporary, but what we're creating is permanent. What we're creating is lasts forever. We're creating works of art. We're creating films that we can show our grandchildren long after we're gone. That will be here. What you did on film, that story that you told, is going to last through the ages. And I think that's what's important. That's what's really important when we're on set for long hours. We're tired. We're hungry. We're thirsty. We want to get this shit over with. When we remember, hey man, why you're, and also remember why you do this. Do you remember being that little kid who was like, oh man,
always,
I can't, oh man, when I was watching that Steven Seagal movie or that Bruce Lee movie or that whatever, I didn't talk about that Wesley Snipes movie, whatever. Do you remember that feeling you got when you were watching it? Okay, now you get to do this. You get to create that stuff. You're blessed. Right? You should count your blessings and understand how lucky you are to do this. Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. But at the end of the day, listen, we're just making movies, right? So although we take it serious and we have fun with it and this is what we do, like, let's also make sure we go home safely. We also make sure that there's also a little bit of playfulness there. Even though we get after it and we work hard, we're still just making movies at the end of the day.
Totally. And how do you think did you actually get some good reward from teaching this to other people, and why did they look to you as the main leader to follow?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a teacher by trade, honest. So one of my other jobs is I'm a part-time professor at Kent State University in Ohio.
Yes.
So I've been teaching for 15, 16 years at this point. So like, it's very, when I see, when I can help motivate somebody to become a better version of themselves, it's one of the most rewarding things that you can possibly imagine. Everybody has it inside of them, whether they know it or not. They have it. They have that extra gear. Yeah, and but sometimes you need an external source to help you understand what's internal. So that's kind of where teachers come in. The teachers aren't showing you anything you don't know. They're just showing you the path to, they're illuminating the path, and then you walk it, if that makes sense. So for me, it's that when I see somebody get it, when I see somebody break through a barrier, when I see somebody overcome an obstacle, when I see somebody, accomplish something they've always wanted to do, man, that's what it's all about. So yeah, I love being able to help people and teach them, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, whatever.
Sweet. And how long you been working at Kent State? I saw that on your resume, but it's just very cool to talk to an actual professor.
Yeah. So I started. What's funny is I started around the same time I started the Kane Action Team, 2014. So I'm coming up on 10 years there. Yeah, when a lot happened in that 2014 year. Started the Kane Action Team. Started teaching at Kent State. Yeah, it was a lot of movement that was going on. So yeah, it'll be this coming fall. I'm starting my 10th year.
Man, so, all right.
I know. Time flies when you're rocking and rolling.
And committed, man, committed. What action movies are you looking forward to that are coming out? Whether independent or festival or even just a short film action fest?
Yeah. So John Wick was the big one. That was like, I had that circled, highlighted, dotted.
Then we got Indiana Jones and Mission Impossible coming out.
We do. Yeah, the Mission Impossible, which I believe is it a two-parter?
Yes. It'll conclude next year.
and Tom Hanks, man. Or not Tom Hanks. Tom Cruise.
I wish we saw Saving Private Ryan, Captain Phillips.
That's the movie we need. Is Tom Hanks in Mission Impossible.
If you can do karate like that one Family Ties episode, I'm in.
Oh yeah, that's right. But no,
or is it Happy Days? One of the two.
One of them, yeah. But Tom Cruise, what a legend! What a legend! But what else? That's man. You got me. You got me thinking. What am I looking forward to besides John Wick? What else do you have coming on?
D&D yet?
I've not. I heard it's good though.
I think you might like some of the practical fight scenes. The Captain Kirk actor, Chris Pine, is just really good at blending dry comedy with physical agility. So
yeah. Here's the issue though: is with the WGA strike that's going on, everything's been halted. So they were actually, this pre-production had started for Blade. And they were actually filming that right here in Cleveland. They were. They were. I don't know if they still will because of the WGA strike, but they were. What happened is originally last year, 2022, they already had, things were moving. They were getting ready to film, and then I guess the director said this script is trash.
It's a curse of a movie.
Insiders in Hollywood had said that I guess the script was lackluster, and there were only like, I think, 2 decent action scenes in the film, and they said they weren't even that great. So they scrapped this. They got rid of the script. They redid it, and then of course now the WGA strike has put everything on hold because I don't think they're
trying to sabotage it just because they don't want to have to work harder to market R-rated movies unless it's Deadpool, and that's the only way they'll get Ryan Reynolds back. And B, like you say, is like they've already attached like a bunch of other guys who've done Super Bowl ads and commercials. They even got the guy who did Bad Boys Free, and then he pulled out when they kept arguing nonstop. And it's just like, why is Blade just a message in a bottle? Why is it so hard to recreate? How hard would it be to have Wesley Snipes being there and everyone would shut up? He's like, okay, it's like Batman introducing the next Robin. That'd be cool.
Exactly. But
they overthink this, and it's just like, just make a kick-ass vampire slaying movie.
Exactly. I know. I just thought of one. I've not watched it yet, but I saw it dropped. Marco Zaror, who was in, he's a badass. He was in the John Wick 4. He just
Undisputed,
Undisputed, of course. Yeah, yep. Kiltro. He just released a movie called Fist of the Condor.
Yes.
And I've not seen it yet, but I heard it's pretty good. There's a bunch of
Creed 3.
And Creed 3, yeah, I've got to see that as well, guys.
I think you're gonna like the fights and the arcs, and don't worry.
I heard that that Michael B. Jordan, he took a lot of anime influence and put it into his fights. The use of the slow-mo, certain angles. So when they were fighting, I guess he used a lot of the techniques that are done in anime to enhance.
Yeah, he's a huge cartoon comic book fan. But don't worry about the Jonathan Majors thing. Again, kind of like Kevin Spacey, he was playing a villain, so it didn't affect the movie.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I forgot about Jonathan Majors. You talk about a guy who shooting himself in the foot, man. He had the world by the stones, and
yeah,
there you go.
I'll take the, and people were like, I'm not sure if I believe him or the women. I was like, well, one thing's for sure. I believe these two different assistant directors in theater school. So,
yeah,
those guys don't bullshit.
Well, and that's the thing is what happens a lot of times is when one person comes forward, it then empowers others to say, hey, man, no, this guy's been a turd ball ever since. I'm just glad that somebody else has spoke out. Now they feel empowered to do so. And I guess he was pretty violent in when he was in school. I guess he had some outbursts of anger, and according to reports that I read, obviously he put his hands around this girl and choked. Like, there's no excuse for it. I don't care who you are. So hopefully, I don't know, man. It's unfortunate, but I guess you reap what you sow.
Yeah, it's one thing to have just like an uneven, like lesser aspect ratio. I remember when so many other people were getting canceled post 2017, and then the LA attorney district just put a chokehold on it, no pun intended, and they were just like, okay, stop right here. Yeah. Yeah, we need crucial evidence. If you can't prove it, can't give us any material, we are not going to see this case. We've already seen these people, that people, and we're turning it over to the attorney general. But it's interesting how but yeah, it is interesting to see people evolve and complement each other as people get past the troubles in their life, explode all that drama on screen, and actually inspire other people who associate, whatever cultural aspect of this business. So when you can actually go past your flaws and stand out so much, change both your life and entertain people while doing it, that's a wonderful thing to do.
Yeah.
Kent State, what other professors and other colleagues did you surround yourself with there, if you can say?
I mean, to be honest with you, at Kent, I kind of in my own bubble, which I like.
We'll return after these messages.
Hello and welcome to Culture Shocked, the pop culture podcast brought to you by four aging millennials and our outdated opinions. Join us every Tuesday as we discuss movies, TV, games, and even music, new and old.
Dude, what do you think you're doing?
Are you seriously trying to record a promo without us right now?
Well, yeah.
Dude, you can't just do the promo by yourself. Who's gonna listen to that?
Yeah, and you probably haven't even told them that we're a pop culture podcast where we always agree on everything. For instance, the Sam Raimi trilogy, easily being the best of the Spider-Man movies.
No. But I think we can all agree that Jaws is a classical masterpiece.
Nope, don't like that. But we do all agree that the sequel trilogy of Star Wars is the best in the Skywalker saga, right, guys?
That comment is so ridiculous. I don't even know where to
Anyways, that'll do it from all of us here at Culture Shock. Thanks for listening.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win Show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
We let things pile up in the DVR. We add them to our queues. We wait for the DVDs and Blu-rays. We time shift. The Time Shifters Podcast. Sci-fi, horror, fantasy, superheroes, comedy, action, film, television, maybe some not-so-current events. Find us on iTunes or at timeshifterspodcast.com.
Cool thing about Blind Knowledge is we are in multiple countries. We are worldwide all across the globe. We are in the US, we are in the UK, we are in Canada, Germany, India, Japan. We're in Australia, y'all. BlindKnowledge.com. Now back to the feature presentation.
So I teach self-defense and I teach jiu-jitsu there, and it's an accredited class. So basically, every student has to take a certain amount of, for lack of a better term, PE, but it's not like gym. I'm teaching self-defense. I'm teaching jiu-jitsu. I'm teaching stuff that's really important and really thorough and really in depth. So every student has to take a few credits of that. So it's required. It's a required. It's somewhat of a required class.
Nice.
But anyways, for me, so yeah, I kind of live in a bubble. There, I just do my thing. I teach my own classes. I don't really have any other, I have friends and colleagues and stuff like that. But that class, though, I will say, and I get feedback on it all the time, is a lot of people say it's the best class they've ever taken. Some of the most fun they've ever taken in college, because it's such an important class. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think everybody should take self-defense, especially women, especially college women. It should be a required class. But everybody that takes it says they are amazed at how much it changed them, changed their mindset, made them more confident and more empowered to defend themselves and not be a victim. So yeah, that's why I do what I do. That's why I continue to do it year after year. It's such a rewarding, empowering thing to be able to help somebody on their journey.
Sweet. Okay, altogether, since fitness is an ever-changing deal and people are always varying on what are the best options to utilize and everything, but who are some other fitness guys who you watch their tutorials and everything? They just have kick-ass advice that makes you not only look forward to getting up in the morning, but also just admire that someone actually wants to spread some very neat tips and tricks.
Yeah. So within the last couple of years, I started following a guy on Instagram who was a former CrossFit competitor named Marcus Philly. And Marcus Philly is the founder of a company called Functional Bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. And I really jive with that, because growing up too, in addition to martial arts, I've always been a big fitness fanatic as well. I actually have my bachelor's degree is in exercise science. So, I've always been enamored. And that was honestly, it probably harkens back to, Bruce Lee with his physique. And I loved watching Arnold. We haven't talked about Arnold and Sylvester Stallone, two of my favorites, right? I grew up watching Arnold and Sly Stallone movies as well. Can't believe we didn't talk about them. But anyways, I was always, and I was a big pro wrestling fan. So to see these guys with larger than life personalities and even larger than life physiques, I loved it. And I tried to my dad has stories of me at 2 years old doing push-ups in the living room, because I wanted to be like my dad, who was, big and muscular. And I wanted to, be physical, and I wanted to grow. So I've always had a fascination with physique and with the human body and improving it, enhancing it. That's why I got my degree in exercise science. So anyways, getting back to Marcus Philly and his functional bodybuilding, it's a perfect marriage between two things: functionality, functional training, which is important when you are a stuntman, when you are an action actor, a martial arts actor. You need to be physical. You need to be in shape. You need to also have functional strength, right? Your joints have to be strong.
You have to have the ligaments have to still be grinding.
Yeah. You need to have good functional movement patterns, but at the same time, you also need to keep in mind the aesthetics of things, right? So you want to look good on camera. You want to have a good physique. Everybody wants to look good and have a good beach body, right? So his functional bodybuilding is the marriage of those two. So I've been doing that for the last, I think I signed about 6 months ago for his program, and I'm honestly probably in the best shape of my life. I feel strong. My physique has never looked better, in my opinion. So yeah, he's definitely somebody that I would look for anybody that's looking to get into fitness, is looking for somebody that knows their stuff and can guide you in the right program. Yeah, he's definitely the guy.
That's excellent. What kind of motivation speakers do you recommend?
Ooh, that's a good one. Motivational speakers. Man, you're firing arrows from all over.
I'm sorry, I can't help myself.
No, you're good. I like this. See, here's the thing: is I have very broad interests myself, in addition to just obviously the physical. Motivational speakers. I could take that a few different ways. I like, and I got to think about where the source I get my motivation. So I'm intrinsically motivated by nature. I'm just geared naturally to go and be motivated, and achieve and get shit done. But that being said, it also is important, to have some outside influences and words in your ear. For me, I get a lot of motivation, life motivation, instead of I'll bring it back. From a business and creative and professional standpoint, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, he's amazing. He's if you've not heard of him, you got to be living under a rock. But he's a great motivation, and I don't even know if he would call himself a motivational speaker. He does a lot of motivational speaking, but he's a business guy, and he what's that?
That's very neat.
Yeah. So he motivates people from a business and life standpoint to achieve what they want to achieve and go after what they want. But the thing I like about Gary Vee is he promotes kindness, because, a lot of people will say, okay, if you want to be, you want to crush it in business, you kill everyone, right? You destroy your competitors. You forget anyone, right? Be mean, be nasty, be an alpha, crush them. Well, he's not like that. He's like, I can be kind, but I can also be an alpha. I can also crush it and go after it. But why do I have to put people down? Right? His thing is if you're going to build the highest skyscraper in the city, are you going to build yours higher than somebody else's? Or are you going to tear somebody else's down just so yours is higher? Right?
Yeah.
So he talks about building that skyscraper up. Listen, why you got to be a dick to other people when you do it? Why can't you be nice?
Yeah.
Why can't you be nice and still get after it? And that's what I love about him. He's got really good practical tips. I've used a lot of his stuff for my business. So yeah, Gary Vee is a big motivational speaker. Outside of that, in terms of spiritual stuff, for me, some of the big ones spiritual teachers like Ram Dass. That's somebody I've been following for a long time. Love his words. Even Buddha, stuff from the Bible, just anything that can hit me intrinsically can help make me look at things in a different perspective. A lot of philosophers too, even Bruce Lee. I know I keep pointing to him, but Bruce Lee was one of the first motivators for me to get into martial arts, obviously, but also Bruce was a philosopher. He studied philosophy in college. His books, the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, some of his philosophical musings in life are really awesome. So yeah, those are kind of the yeah. And I'm a big fan of quotes too. I have a whole bag actually that I threw a bunch of quotes in, and every once in a while I just shake it up and pull one out, and it'll be something from, whether it's literature, whether it's a movie, whether it's famous historical figure, Mother Teresa, whomever, anybody that can just kind of anytime you get a quote like that, or and I try to every day I try to find a quote or a paragraph or something, anything that can help you kind of center yourself or look at something to meditate and ruminate on in the back of your mind and help you kind of view life differently, right? That's what I love.
Exactly. Instead of, like you say, putting people down or getting annoyed that There's a very mean-spirited meme that doesn't do anything for anybody.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't engage. One of my personal philosophies is when there's like negativity on social media, I don't engage. It's not my thing.
There's no point. Yeah.
No, there isn't. You're not going to win them over.
People ask me, why am I not active on my main page? I'm like, if I have something to say, I'll let you know.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like,
not going to rant.
There's no point. My time is valuable. I'm not going to spend it interacting with somebody who's going to be negative. And somebody that will comment on a post and be negative, and I've had it. Everybody has it. Think about this.
Yeah.
Think about this from a philosophical standpoint. This is somebody that's taking time out of their day, effort, energy to hop on a keyboard and say something to you negatively, derogatory. Like that takes somebody that's hurting to do that, right? Now, it's one thing if it's a constructive thing, like, hey, man, did you think about doing this? That's cool. But if it's intentionally to be negative or intentionally to harm somebody, that's somebody that's messed up. And I actually have, and this is what Gary Vee actually talks about, have empathy for that person because they're coming from a dark place.
Oh, totally. And truth be told, they probably wouldn't spread it to begin with if they weren't all that stuck up. And
exactly.
I just talked about this with martial artist James Gapsey, who you might know from the Who Would Win podcast show.
Okay.
They do hysterical versus matches with fictional characters and everything.
Oh, got you. Okay.
But he is an actual martial artist, and he has trained even people in Delta Force and Secret Service and everything. But that's not even the cool part. He does the same thing. He'll see people dick around in the group. He always keeps it positive. And like, someone will say something like, "Oh, it was a terrible fight and outcome." He's like, "You're absolutely right." It's like, "Oh, what?" And they're confused. He's like, "You're right. You're wrong. You're right. It doesn't matter. You have validation. I'm seeing you. We'll do better next time." Boom.
There you go.
We regret nothing either. So it's just so fun to just kind of have to, you're not playing a mind game with anyone, so to speak, but you are flat out telling them, "Hey, I'm putting out the fire you caused. It's all good. Just like Whose Line is it anyway? The points do not matter." So just get over it. It's like, it's nothing. You're not here to bitch slap you, and we're also not here to instigate. And before you guys set a fire, well, we're just not going to do that. Not today.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Love it.
But yeah, validation is often what someone who's being a jerk is often looking for. And half the time, you just got to tell them, hey, it's not that your opinion's unpopular. It is, but that's not why we're talking about this. The main issue we have is that we got to just relax. We got to just soak in this. And then when you're actually ready to talk about something or whatever, just, we'll talk then, but it's not going to be today because there's a lot to unload and unpack.
For sure. And there's a lot of anxiety in the world. And social media has just shined a light on that, man. And a lot of people, they feel empowered to jump on social media and fire off. And again, they're coming from a hurtful place, So try to have empathy for them and whatever, but you can't let it affect you.
No. Absolutely. And altogether, when did you decide, hey, I love my students. I love teaching at the gym. Now I got to set myself on a new journey. Does that moment ever come?
Yeah, no, that happened. It'll be.
I love how you just did a mock typing effect.
Yeah, that's my mind going. What am I thinking? It'll be. I'm doing some quick math. Oh yeah, so it'll be 4 years in October this year that I started my own business. And basically, I'll give you the Reader's Digest. I'll give you the skinny version of it. I was a head instructor at a martial arts school for 10 years. And this is actually one of the reasons that I really jive with Gary Vee, because his journey is similar, kind of similar to mine, or mine similar to his. 10 years, I was a head instructor at a martial arts school, built the martial arts school. We had, I think at our peak, like 150, 175 students, huge school. And then I had a falling out with the owner. There were some.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's definitely for the best. Without like burying anyone, the owner started to show his true colors over time, and it was not a person that I wanted to become affiliated with. And when you lose respect for somebody, it's hard to work for them. So, so I said, peace out. I just got my master's degree. I said, I'm gone. I think I got to do my own thing now, and naturally I'm a leader. I'm, type A, like I like being in control and being in charge and calling the shots. I've had a hard time working for people, especially if I don't respect you. If I respect you, I can definitely work for you. If you're like King Leonidas and I can follow you into battle with my sword, my shield and spear, I will die for you. But if I don't respect you, then I'm gone.
There's no point in pretending.
Exactly.
We all have to do it. I will work with anyone, but my problem is not whether or not I respect you or not. It's, are you working me to death and taking advantage of me? But
that too. And that was a part of it. And that was a part of it too. I was definitely getting taken advantage of. So I said, you know what, screw this. I can do my own thing, make my own money. I'm gone. So I started my business October of 2019. Well, guess what happened 6 months later? COVID. So then I started teaching out of my basement. I started doing Zoom classes. And then I did that for a year, saved all the money, opened a physical location. And I'm now, we just expanded into a new location that's over twice as big as the old location. So yeah, long story short is it was just time. I just knew it in my gut. And it was like, hey, time. And it's a risk. If you've never started, but everything in life's a risk, right? But if you've never started a business, you've never started a podcast, you've never ventured forth, made a film, asked somebody out on a date, asked your boss for a raise, whatever. All of these things are risks. And one of two things are going to happen. You're either going to fall on your face, or two, you're going to be successful. If you're successful, great. If you fail and fall on your face, guess what? You can learn from that. You can learn from your failure.
Anything can be
learned.
And
then grow. Yes. And then you can say, hey, okay, maybe next time I'll do this. Or, hey, maybe I'll try something else. Okay. But I've never been somebody, and maybe I'm an eternal optimist, but I've never been somebody who, I don't really believe in failure, because there's always learning. There are learning outcomes that can happen because of that failure. To me, that's what life is all about. As life is a test, it's a curriculum, and take it. And everything that happens to you in life is a test to see, what you got. It's positivity. They're gifts given to you to help you grow, right? So, little scary to jump out and start my business, but at the same time, I had a really zen calm about me, because I love martial arts. I love helping people. I love the physicality of it, right? And I'm also a people person. I'm very much an extreme extrovert. I love.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, I love talking to people and building relationships with them, and that's why I ultimately did it. And I knew it was time because of all those things.
Sweet. And I really I don't want to just this is a great story and all, but also. And now that you've explained what keeps you going and the emotion that resonates with you, but also for those trying to rent out a gym, like this is, everybody can do that, but like you say, to build, they got to figure out how they want to build the work ethic and everything. But like, how do you recommend? What are the best kinds of gyms that to rent out, in your opinion?
So what I would say is start first off is like find. Number one, you got to be passionate. If you're not going to love it, if you don't love what you're doing, forget it, because I work more than I've ever worked in my life. And like when you own a business, there's no such thing as days off. Like, granted, I will take a day off, but there's always shit you can do. There's always things that need to be done.
Always.
So if you're not ready for that, and if you don't have the passion that's going to pull you through to the other side and have happiness be your North Star, forget it. But that being said, what I would say is always start small and be practical, right? Mm-hmm. Like, try to be as cheap as you can. When I first started, I rented space at another gym. I think I paid like $200 or $300 a month. That was it. Just to get me started, just to build a base, just to build my brand, build a name, and then go from there and be practical and be realistic, So find a gym, whether it's like I was renting space at like this women's fitness studio, and we were rolling around their dirty ass mats doing, stuff. But yeah, find something that, as long as it fits and it works for you, and the price is good, and you can be realistic about it, and it won't put you into debt. Do it.
Right. Loving it. And any other events that you got coming up?
So we have it's weird. Us as a Brand Kane action team, since COVID, really towards the tail end of COVID, we haven't done as much because of COVID stuff. And in the last year, my acting has, I wouldn't say taken off. That's kind of a narcissistic word, but I've been busier than ever from an acting standpoint. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, like, this year I'm filming. I've already done 2 shorts, and I'm doing 3 shorts. I've been doing 3 shorts this year, and 1, 2, 3 feature films. The aforementioned Bullets, Brothers in Blood, we're wrapping that up. That's an action movie, drama. I'm doing another drama. It's about a robbery at a diner called No Loose Ends, and it's a dark drama. We're going to be filming that already. Yeah, we're going to be filming that at the end of the summer. Project I'm really excited about that we filmed the first 20 minutes of last year. We're going to finish it this year. Is a slasher called Meat. And if anybody follows me on social media, it's very much over the top. It's an LGBTQ slasher. It's like crazy.
That's awesome.
It's great. So I play a character named Vinny in that, who is, it's a fun character. It'll be fun to do some horror. I've done a couple of horror shorts. This is my first horror feature film. So we're gonna wrap that up this year. That's been a lot of fun. And then we're also wrapping up. We started this last year, a movie called Once Upon a Ninja. And it is you ever heard of The Toxic Avenger? Ever seen any of those movies?
Lloyd Kaufman.
Okay. Yeah, Lloyd Kaufman. So if you take Toxic Avenger, Princess Bride, and Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you morphed them into a movie, this is what you get. It's going to be a campy, over-the-top B movie, B action fantasy movie. We're going to be finishing that up this year. I'm handling, in addition to being the lead in that movie, the ninja, I'm also the action designer and stunt coordinator. So all the fight scenes, all the action in that movie, it will have my fingerprint on it. I'm going to be in charge of editing it as well. So it's going to look badass. The fight, even though the movie is going to be kind of cheesy and over the top, the fight scenes are going to be in your face, and they're going to be sick. They're going to be great. They're going to be intense. So I'm finishing that up this year. And then I also have, so for the Kane Action Team, there are 2 projects we're aiming for to get start production at the end of the year. Well, at least 1 for sure, possibly 2. One of them I'm currently writing a script for a short MMA drama. If you've ever seen the movie Warrior,
yes,
kind of similar to that. It'll be a heavy drama movie, but with fight scenes like out of Undisputed. So it'll be right up your alley, man. You'll dig it. So it's going to be not to be a counter to that. Have you seen the movie Bruised? No, but I heard, somebody was telling me about it the other day.
It's extremely similar, and it does give you some inside info on probably how some of those underground fighting circuits work.
Yeah.
They're not always breaking the law, but they still have some shady characters, and it's just so much constant heartbreak.
Yeah, for sure. So I want a movie that talks about loss, grief, and overcoming, overcoming loss and pain, and being able, and also throwing in what I love, some kick-ass action in it. So that's, I'm currently just started the script for that. So hopefully have that done in a few months. We'll see how it goes, and then start production by the end of the year. And then I have another short film that I'm going to do that's an action comedy called Baby Bomber. And I don't really want to say too much. I don't want to say too much about it, but it's going to be outrageous and over the top. And obviously,
might be some goo goo gaga in it.
There, lots of goo goo and definitely some gaga. And if you or your listeners have ever seen any of our stuff, you can go to the Kane Action Team YouTube channel.
You guys are really great on Instagram. Really having some promo videos here and there.
Yeah, we have and obviously check. I don't know if we do plugs or we're going to do them later, but obviously at the Matt Kane on Instagram. That's the Matt Kane, Kane with a K, K-N-E. I post a lot.
K.
Yeah, that's right. Just like the wrestler,
the King.
I post a lot more on my personal page than I do on the Kane Action Team page. So, but yeah, give them both a follow. But also, there's a couple projects that we've done that are currently up on YouTube. There's a short, we kind of did a versus fan film where Ryu versus the Winter Soldier. That's up there.
I saw that was one of the first titles.
Yeah. Ryu versus Winter Soldier is up YouTube. There. Yep. That's on YouTube. There's also another short film. I may be re-releasing it on YouTube called The Sofa. Actually, I think I will. As of right now, it's not there, but hopefully by the time this releases, it'll be opened again. I had it on a streaming platform, but I think I'm going to re-release it back on YouTube. It's called The Sofa. It is my homage to Jackie Chan. It's about a guy who wakes up on a sofa. He has no idea why he's there. His cell phone rings. He picks it up. By the way, this sofa is in the middle of a field. He jumps on his cell phone. Turns out his fiancée has been kidnapped, and in order for her to be to set free, he has to fight ninjas, Care Bears, clowns, all this kind of stuff. They have to fight him, and the one rule is he has to stay on the couch. If he steps foot off of the couch, the sofa, then his fiance gets killed. So every fight scene that we do in that short film takes place on a sofa. It's a blast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so check that out. Again, I'm going to be re-releasing that on our YouTube channel. And then the other one we did, the most recent one that we did was a short film called Elbow Master versus Kick Master. And essentially it's about one guy. Well, I should say this. One master, all he does is kick. And one master, all he does is throw elbows. I play the Elbow Master. Ben Garten plays the Kick Master. And it's a 5-minute, essentially it's like a 5-minute music video. I got a really great track from a friend. And we just did a whole 5-minute fight scene where one character just throws elbows, the other character just throws kicks, and it's in the middle of this giant. Music? What's that?
By track, you mean music or?
Yeah. So it was a great track. It was a great music track. Yeah. A 5-minute music track. It was, and this fight scene takes place like in this big ass hollowed out rock quarry. It looks epic. It's a fun fight scene. Yeah, so check us out on YouTube at Kane Action Team, myself at the Matt Kane on Instagram. You can see more of the projects. We have, like I said, some other stuff coming up, and support us and and that's the other thing. Support indie filmmakers and indie artists. We need the support.
I'm with it, man. Let's do it. Altogether, any crowdfunding projects you might do in the future? Cynthia Rothrock and Don the Dragon Wilson, for instance, B-movie martial artists have just funded their own Western feature, for instance.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, crowdfunding's a tough thing, and currently, 2 of the movies that I'm in, No Loose Ends and Meat, the No Loose Ends campaign just wrapped. They're going to do a second round, but Meat is currently, there's 2 weeks left on their campaign. Their crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is tough. It's a hard thing. You have to have a really good product and good promo to show people. So I've never done any crowdfunding per se. I might down the line if I feel like that's the proper avenue and we got something really stellar that people can get behind and throw some coins at, some shekels at. Yeah, I would do it. But I try to keep at least for right now all our action shorts reasonable, where we don't need such a huge budget. Try to use resources that we have, locations, people, and all that stuff that we have. But yeah, down the line, I definitely want to. I got a couple feature film ideas that I want, and crowdfunding might be the right route to go.
Okay, hey, whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, I see plenty of people who had all the time and energy in the world, and they just were overthinking it to where it's just like, guys. No one's got. Would you fund this if no one gave you anything to work with?
Exactly. And that's what's tough is like, you gotta be realistic and practical, with what you have. And I think that's where people get kind of put, and Lord knows I've been around projects and in projects where, people they weren't practical. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, this, and this. I'm like, do you have the money for that?
Yeah.
We're going to be angels. There's one of the first films that I got cast in. I played like an evil angel, and then we were going to have like battles with like shooting fireballs and lasers and flying around. And I'm like, you have money for that? And she's like, no, we'll crowdfund. And I think she got like $2 or something for it. Yeah, it's tough.
Maddening. I'm glad that you're associating yourself with both people you can teach as well as people who are not wasting your time. And this was just a cool eye opener to just at least just know how, again, the struggle will always be real, but hey, kudos to anyone who just made it happen.
But yeah, man, life's a struggle. So like, what are you going to do? You got to enjoy it. You got to find what you love, give your heart to it, and help out. And it's going to be those days where you're struggling. It's going to be that joy that you have for that thing, that love for that thing that's going to carry you through to the other side.
I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping. Alrighty. So for those fortunate enough to listen to this, again, Kane Action Team, look it up. You can find them on the interwebs. It's no problem whatsoever. And again, just thanks for shedding some light.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime. If you want me back, talk about some more projects and stuff.
We'll do a Bruce Lee special, I swear.
There you go. As you can see, as I've been told by many people in my life, they say, Matt, he doesn't shut up. I like to talk. I don't know if it's because I like to hear the sound. I like to hear that. I don't know if it's I like me liking the sound of my own voice, or if it's more just, I don't know. I just love conversing with people. I love talking and I love getting to know people. But yeah, I'd love to come back and talk about some other stuff. Yeah. Check us out again on Instagram, Kane Action Team, Kane with K, at the Matt Kane. Check us out, like Cam said, on the internet at kaneactionteam.com. And then, of course, our YouTube channel, Kane Action Team, for everything. I'm always uploading shorts there of me training or small fight scenes. Like I just uploaded a fight scene ASMR video that was really cool. And then we have some fight scenes from some of our most recent feature films that we did action design on, like Rumble TV is up there. Project E1337 out. Yeah, Rumble TV was a feature film done by Keith Collins, who's a member of the Kane Action Team. He actually has a streaming service. Oh, you interviewed him? Okay. When was that?
Last year.
Okay. Yeah, well, there you go. So yeah, I don't know if he talked. I think since then he started his streaming service. It's called 3digitalrocktheater.tv. Mm-hmm. Check that out. The sofa is actually on there for right now exclusively. It might be on my YouTube channel as well. But a bunch of other short films are there as well.
Sweet.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening. It's a jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show.